Hello and welcome to episode 241 of the 77 Club. Harry, start with the socials.
Yes, thanks for everyone who rated us 5 stars on Spotify last week after asking, so please do that again if you haven't already. Instagram, Twitter and Facebook, the Wall 77 Club, and we've got a new logo again. Thanks to the people who commented, tearing the last week's to absolute shreds. I've adjusted it slightly. New logo, it's staying like that now. It's not changing. Thank you very much for your feedback.
I don't want to jinx anything, but Harry's internet seems to be holding up. I can't believe somebody came up to the game and said they actually found it hilarious that Harry's Wi-Fi wouldn't work last week. So there you go. It takes all sorts. Jack Williams is here.
Hi, everybody.
And Dan Bayliss.
Hello.
Harry, let's start with Newcastle at home. I think a performance that has maybe been coming. Lots of people said that if this is a Newcastle side, they're obviously in very, very good form, spent a lot of money on their squad. A couple of players missing, but I think it was a fantastic performance from Wolves, 2-2 draw.
Yeah, and having Lamina back and Semedo back was brilliant. I thought helped massively. Especially Lamina, it was good to see him get his first goal as well. And I mean, the big talking point which we'll get onto is their penalty. But if it wasn't for that, I think we could have won. I think we deserved to win. And to take a team that are in the Champions League and have them on the back foot as much as we did, and I just thought we were brilliant. And we've got an identity now under Gary O'Neill. He's not a PE teacher. He's a great manager. And yeah, it was a great night at Molineux as well. Although it absolutely pissed down, it was really good to be there, wasn't it? I thought we had a great night.
It was one of those games, Jack, where I was so glad that we moved seats, didn't get wet once. Obviously, knew it was raining, looking out onto the pitch, but I mean, the amount of water that fallen outside the ground, unbelievable. Just what did you think of the performance, sort of from your point of view?
Well, the first point is it's nice to pay £600 a year for a ticket and not get rained on. That's a little perk that I know we haven't had for many years ourselves, given where we used to sit. But overall performance, really, really pleased, to be honest, really, really pleased. And it was just a good game as well. Like for the neutral watching that, for the late kickoff game, lots of times they don't live up to expectations, do they? But I think everyone thought it was a cracking game. Both teams going for it and creating chances and having good spells of pressure and obviously scoring goals as well. Some good goals in there. But yeah, particularly from our point of view, the performance was really good. And again, against another difficult team at home, we've done exactly what we needed to. We've played exciting attacking football and been on the wrong side of another very controversial call, but twice got ourselves back into the game from being behind. And if it wasn't for a really unfortunate bit of bad luck, I think really, not just for the fact that Neto was injured, but the position that he pulled up in when he was about to pull the trigger, wasn't he really? I think we'd have gone on to win the game, or we'll have a really good chance of winning it. But after he went off, I think that 5-minute breather that Newcastle got when he was being stretchered off really helped them sort of regroup and have a little bit of recovery, especially after playing midweek. But you know, you can only sort of go so far as to play the cards you're dealt, and we did really well under the circumstances of an unfortunate injury and being on the wrong side of another bit of a VAR shambles, to be honest. So full credit to him, because he's got the team fighting, hasn't he? And the performances and the results in recent weeks have been really good. It's probably a plus he's pushing really with everything going on, which I didn't see coming if you go back to just the week before the Man City game. But, with the way it's gone lately, really, really, really pushing up there for some really good performances. So you can't fault him. Good game under lights at Molineux. Good point to take away. Could have been more, but it's so much to build upon now.
And Bayliss, you were with the prawn sandwich brigade on this very occasion. Jose Sarr, we talked about a decision, and we'll talk about that in a minute with the penalty, but you've got to expect your keeper to do better. And I know that sort of keepers have maybe been overprotected in the past, and it's sort of maybe just coming back round a little bit, but you expect him to deal with that sort of cross.
Yeah, you would. I mean, going back to everything everyone said, just in general, it was such a refreshing, positive performance. And yeah, you can pick faults in any game of football. There's 90 minutes where you're going to make mistakes and things don't go your way. Decisions we'll get onto, but I just thought it was just refreshing to watch. It was enjoyable. You sat there and you thought, we're going for this. Even when we went one down, within a couple of minutes, you thought, oh no, we've done the same thing again. We've been good and gone one down. Came back, fought for it. I thought Wolves were superb. I can't really fault many people. My man of the match is going to make you fall off your chair. I really enjoyed it. It's one of the best nights we've had at Molineux in a while, all bar the result that I personally think we got screwed by VAR. That's another absolute shocker, isn't it?
Harry, absolute shocker. Agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. At the time, I thought, oh, maybe in real time, but then seeing it on the telly down the concourse, like everyone was just like, not everyone, weren't they? There weren't one person who thought it was a penalty, and how again? I don't know how they can come to that conclusion, but it's a joke. Just on Sarr again, he did make a bit of a howler, but I thought overall he was pretty decent. But yeah, he's got to cut those mistakes out, hasn't he? But yeah, the big talking point is VAR. And also, he's gone under the radar a little bit. It was really good to see Lamina get his first goal for Wolves, wasn't it? And it was just off a straight corner, another assist for Neto. Yeah. But yeah, I just don't get how, after reviewing that, you can give it. It's just ridiculous.
You know, it's bad, Jack, when Dermot Gallagher's in the Sky studio saying it shouldn't have been a penalty because, 9 times out of 10 or 99 times out of 100, he's trying to find a reason to side with the officials.
It's at the stage now because you think, how many times have we talked about VAR and we're 10 games into the season? And we've had 3 or 4 decisions now go against us. And I'm sure many other teams have had similar amounts that they can point at already that have just, it seriously knocked some points off the board for us so far this season. If you think about, Man United, you think about Luton, you think about the other day, then we could be absolutely buzzing and, have a fair few more points and be sitting comfortably in the top half now, which can make a difference to teams at the end of the season. On this one specifically, I don't really know what to say anymore. And you have to sort of go back to ask yourself, why is VAR there in the first place? And if VAR is there in the first place to make sure you get the correct decision, then it's not being implemented correctly. Because what's happening now is they're watching these things back, and rather than going, has the ref got it right? Has the ref got it wrong? They're saying, has he got it wrong enough for us to change it? Which, right and wrong is an absolute, isn't it? So it's they don't know what they're doing. They've implemented it terribly. It's, as we said before, it seems to be run by absolute morons who just shout over each other most of the time. The fact that it took so long for them to make that decision knows there's something wrong with it. So why you wouldn't even let the ref go and make the call himself from close up? Because you can see why he's bought it in real time. You can see that. I think what's happened basically is everyone's seen it back a few times now, but Hwang, it's a mistake by Hwang. He overruns the ball. He knows that. The ball then hits his standing leg and he goes to kick it, but he pulls out the challenge last minute. But the Newcastle player goes and initiates the contact anyway because he knows he's going to buy it. In real time, I didn't think. I was like, where's the foul there? I didn't see it. And when he thought it was a penalty, I thought it was a free kick at first, to be honest with you. Just a free kick and that's that. But a penalty for that, it's a game-changing decision, particularly to put them back in front at the stage in the game. So we've got to come out and chase it again. And you go again, just go back to the question, like, what's the point? Because if the referee had just given that in real time, you'd think, fair enough. If let's say VAR wasn't a thing, you'd say, okay, fair enough. You can see from the angle he was at, the Newcastle player was definitely looking for it. It's more understandable if he makes the decision in a split second. But when you've got 3 people looking at it in a screen afterwards, and they look at it for 5 minutes and go, oh yeah, no, ref, we'll go with the ref. That's right. It just defeats the whole principle of actually it being either a clear and obvious error or getting the result right. So I just don't know what to say or where to go with it, really. I'm still of the view, I think, that we talked about it so much now, it's ruining the game. Just get rid of it so we can stop talking about it and you'll save yourself a Stockley Park electricity bill.
Jack, I think it's twofold, isn't it? The first problem
like origami.
More than that. You can see the problem that the whole point of this, as you said, is that it's designed to get these minimal decisions right by looking at it again. So you're quite right in saying, if you look at that in full speed, you can see why a ref might give that as a penalty. But the whole point of the review system is to go, oh, well, if you actually look at this closely, that isn't a foul. So that's the whole point of it. So it's that sort of arrogance or stupidity that they're sticking with on-field decisions, that the whole point of their entire purpose sitting in a shed in the middle of nowhere is to do that. The second one, and we've said this, and we've said it for over 12 months, the entire purpose of VAR is to make sure the bigger teams, or the ones that are paying the money to keep the Premier League where it is, are getting these decisions. I can't think of a stinker VAR decision Wolves have had go their way.
No, true.
And what are we on? 2 or 3 already this season against us?
United, I probably said the Luton penalty and that
Luton,
one.
yeah.
The
Luton, you can't really say the Luton one because it's Luton. But the United one and that one, we would never in an entire season get one like that our way. I can't think of it. Can you think?
No,
of
I
one?
think that's a really good point. I can't think of
We had the penalty
one
at
where we've
home.
gone. Oh, we've got away with that.
We had the penalty at home a couple of years ago where 2 players crammed in on maybe Neto or someone, but it was just like a bang-on penalty that the ref didn't give, and it was a penalty. Other than that, I cannot think of an instant where you're like, "Whoa, done well there."
No.
So
Agree.
Yeah,
I'm
we've
getting
had
closer
the
and closer.
howler of cameras not being turned on or anything like that. But
that's still the best one, I think. The fact that the camera.
No, I
working,
think.
but...
I mean, I know they moan the most, but I
Liverpool's
think
is the worst.
Liverpool's is the worst. Liverpool's at Tottenham's the worst one I've seen. So it does happen to the big clubs too.
Yeah. I was thinking the worst one from a Wolves fan's point of view. The thing that winds me up as well is, what doesn't wind me up, but I think it would wind up the coaching staff so much, is they basically get real-time replays like on the TV screen on the bench.
They're straight on the iPads.
Both teams are looking at that, and they're obviously they're going to be biased towards their own team and their own player. But if you're Gary O'Neill, you're there watching that, you're thinking they're watching this back. Exactly, and who's that helping by getting them all rolled up because they've got the decision wrong, whilst some people 150 miles away actually make the call? I don't see what it's helping. One thing that would help, I know we've said it before, but a review system, because if they saw that straight away and they said, right, you've got to review that because we think that's wrong, then they look at it, would they still say the same thing?
God.
I don't think they would. I think that would change.
That's another 5 minutes added on.
But also imagine if it's Pep that is wanting to review, and then it even opens up the can of worms of the corruption thing again, even more, that conversation to go when you've got the top of the league managers reviewing everything.
Did you see O'Neill's comments? O'Neill was like, I ain't bothered anymore. They're just so bad, I can't bother to even moan at them.
Well, that's the thing, he's given up, hasn't he?
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, his popularity in the last 3 weeks has gone sky.
The quickest turnaround.
Like,
I know football fans are fickle, but his turnaround's been nothing short and tremendous, has it? Since that Ipswich and Luton
hell of a comeback, isn't it?
Jesus.
I mean, how close are we to the tinfoil hat brigade of being like, this is just its only sole purpose is to make sure the bigger side wins a game or gets a decision to give them a chance?
I just think it's like you said the other week, Bailey. So I just think they're just really bad at their job. I just think that's what it is. I know they've got unconscious bias towards the big clubs for a lot of the decisions too. But it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing, because they've got this, because of all that happened at the start, because they implemented it so terribly at the start with the tight offsides, with rolling goals out for the tiniest little thing, which in real time looked like nothing. They've set themselves up for this now, where the fact they've thought, well, we can't keep doing that, it's annoying everybody. So now we only want to intervene when it's proper, clear and obvious to overturn the ref's decision. But if you're taking 5 minutes to reach that decision, you've still interfered with the game. So just get it right. So
yeah, exactly.
You just can't win, can you?
I think as soon as it takes a certain amount of time, you go past a certain time that has elapsed, it's like it's clear and obvious goes out the window for me, and that just never seems to be taken into account. I just don't understand it.
I listened to Oh, sorry, but Alice, go on.
No, go on. Keep going.
Yeah, sorry. What I was going to say was I heard Alan Shearer talking about it, and even he said like it wasn't a penalty, and he made the point. I think it was him that Anthony Taylor is more senior than Gillett, whatever his name is, who was on VAR. So he kind of said, is it the fact that he didn't want to overrule someone who's more senior than him within the refereeing ranks? So if that's the case, it's ridiculous, isn't it? Like he didn't have the balls to call out like a more experienced referee.
And that doesn't sound like, I mean, I'm sure everybody here has a job and a structure, but that doesn't sound like a healthy working environment. If you're even questioning that, if you're thinking, oh, can I overrule this bloke because he's higher up than me, then it's not going to lead to good productivity, is it? And correct decisions and a good working environment. So,
I just think they just can't be football people. I don't get how they come to these decisions. I think if you showed any competent football fan that goes to games and watches games of football, all of these decisions that have been wrong over the course of the last 12 months, I reckon they get 80 to 90% of them right in what the outcome should have been. I mean, that offside was
pre VAR though. I think it was in the 90s certainly of getting decisions right. It was only the odd one where you were looking mostly. I think probably offsides were the problem. But I think thing is, when you go back, or if you go back and ask the question, do you want video assistant referee? Everybody say yes. And it just goes back to
it's on tape, so I don't want to say anything. But
it will be actually. That's a very good point.
I don't know.
Did we? I think when I was confident that they were applying the same rules to all offsides, actually, which I've never been that confident because I've always thought the moment you hit the ball, the camera angle and stuff, there's so much room for error here from what the pictures we're seeing. But ever since they've got that one wrong in the Liverpool Spurs game, that's sort of just thrown a shadow over that. The only other thing was goal line technology was implemented really well, bar that one
at Villa.
Yeah. So, I suppose you can take one really big mistake every few years, but VAR for everything. I think unless it's cases of mistaken identity, they should just stop it now for the general game.
It's mad though, isn't it? Because actually that goal line, the Hawkeye for the Villa and Sheffield United were the two that were, and you look at the trajectory of those two clubs since it, and you think actually, it could have had a massive impact, especially how well Villa are doing now. But I suppose you can't pin it on one moment. But the butterfly effect.
Can I just say something positive?
Yeah, we should talk about the positive.
I was going to say how good was Totti for the goal.
Oh my God, Sam! I was just about to say, was I pissed or did he turn into Lionel Messi for that equaliser? Oh my life!
You got to remember, you got to see first though. You see the flick from Lamina in the first place to give it to him. The flick from Lamina, then onto Totti, and then it's a great goal by Hwang as well. Isn't it? It's a great finish.
He's on fire.
The first touch. The bloke could not trap a bag of cement last year. He literally couldn't.
I mean, you're talking about people turning it around like Gary O'Neill. Like, imagine him this time last year. Everyone wanted him out, didn't they? And now everything he touches is turning to gold. Even though he didn't have his best game, to be honest, he didn't have a great game. But he did
Burns' ankles. His ankles are still stuck in the turf in the box at Molineux, weren't they? The way he turned it, he was on his ass.
He just went. He just kept going, didn't he? And obviously the rain probably didn't help his case. But my God,
he's still going. He's just won the gold medal in luge.
Let's do a man of the match. We're dying to hear Bayless's, but we'll leave him to last. Go for it, Harry.
I've just thought, well, he's not my man of the match, but I think we've got to say Tommy Doyle had a really good appearance, cameo again.
God, there's so many positives.
He was brilliant. Man of the match, probably Lamina, first goal. Jack just mentioned that little flick. I thought there was a few, weren't there? The defence were half decent again. I
thought Kalajdzic looked good when he came on, actually. It's
just a shame that I know I've already mentioned it. It's just such a shame what happened with Neto. He took the wind out of all the fan sails at the end.
That's going to be a real blow to us. I know. I've obviously everyone's been saying it, but obviously how great he's been. All his assists so far this season. He looks like a player reborn. So I feel really, really sorry for him. To be honest, it's going to be a tough one, but it's really going to hinder us as well because we're not going to look the same threat now. I'll be brutally honest, as we have been with having two wingers flying. It's going to need the team to really all chip in a little bit. But man of the match, I was going to say Lamina as well, Harry. So I will copy you and stick with that.
Bayless.
Thought Lamina was superb. Totti was good. Doyle, when he came on, was fantastic. But just watching the game, I thought Semedo was just brilliant. He just did. Maybe one or two little mistakes in the game, but the way we built up our play and went down the wings, the way you got forward, moved the ball inside, created those triangles, I just thought it was great to watch. It was really entertaining football, which Wolves haven't been playing of the last year or so, and with all the manager changes.
Do you know how's put a really big shift in? The fans. Molineux's coming back, I'm telling you. The fans. Singing Gary O'Neill's name at the end, weren't they?
Nothing like a 5.5 hour drinking session to get the.
That's it.
Yeah, true.
5.5 hour drinking session and 2 goals in the same match at home. They make them like that.
We're dreaming.
Actually. Oh, go on, Jack.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, I did think Traoré looks a little bit off the pace, to be honest. I know he went off not long into the second half, but I think if you're looking for small negatives, he hasn't looked as on it as he did when he's come on off the bench in recent weeks. I think it's fair to say. But obviously, Tommy Doyle is looking, like a very shrewd signing because he can pass, which is brilliant.
Right, yeah. And Bellegarde must be sort of upset with himself, I suppose, the way that he obviously got sent off against Luton. But, do you see a way back into the side? Obviously, we're going to talk about Sheffield United next, might be the game for him. But just on Hwang, there was 2 club records that I think he has equalled or broken. He's the first Wolves player to score 6 in the club's first 10 top flight games since, can anyone guess? It's about a 50-year-old record.
Bully?
Richards.
50 years, Harry.
50.
Oh, I thought you meant he was 50 years old, as in the player's 50 years old.
Dugan or Richards?
It is Dugan, and Richards is actually the other answer, and he's equaled John Richards' 50-year record.
Right, I'm not doing the
scoring
quiz. I'm done.
in-
Right, fuck that. I'm
in
finished.
6 consecutive top-flight games at Molineux, which Hwang could beat if he scores against Spurs in a couple of weeks' time. Let's move on to Sheffield United. Harry, do you think it's safe to say that, now I don't want to jinx it, we're obviously going into it without our talisman in Neto, but are they turning into the whipping boys of the league? I've said it.
Oh, see, this is what worries
I
me.
said it.
This
I said
is,
it. I know.
this is what worries me. I know they've only got one. I think it's 1 point. That's what they've got all season in it. But I've watched them twice this season, and both of their games has been at their ground. They lost 2-1 to Man City, and Man City struggled, and they lost 2-1 to Man United, and Man United struggled. So, although on paper they look horrendous, which they probably are, I'm very worried about this game, especially not having Neto as well. I feel like because we're the favourites, we're better if we're the underdogs. Look at us at Luton. We were awful because we were expected to go there and win. So if we're
First half
of
of we were crap.
First half of Bournemouth. So if we go into it with the mentality we're going to go there and win, I've got a really bad feeling about this game. But I don't know. It's going to be tough. And if we go 5 at the back, will they sit back and say, come on then? And we don't like that, do we? We want to be the ones that sit back and invite teams on. So it'd be interesting to see if we can break them down. I mean, it might be a game for Tommy Doyle to do that, to get on the ball and try and break them down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really worried about it.
Maybe just to ease your worry a little bit, this is for Jack really. They've scored 7 goals and conceded 29.
Don't do it.
Yeah, but if anyone can break a team's record, I mean, we gave Luton their first points as well, didn't we? I agree with Harry. Particularly, Neto's going to be a really big miss. There's no way he's obviously going to be back in time for Saturday. I think there was he put a message out which suggested it might not be as bad as first thought, but we might be reading a little bit too much into that in terms of wishful thinking rather than actual science. But so yeah, this is going to be a tough one because also just the way the league's shaping up, and I don't want to just get ahead of myself because we've been quite good lately and we've had a few results together to drag us into mid-table. But it's looking like the teams, there's 4 teams at the bottom really, and you're thinking the 3 relegated sides are going to come from this group. And if nothing changes quickly, it's going to be a very potentially boring relegation battle if we get into Christmas and there's just 4 teams adrift of everybody else, because you think you'd be pretty certain it's going to be 3 from 4. And I don't particularly want that to happen, but not so much that I want us to not win on Saturday. So we've got to turn up and just be professional. And I agree with what Harry said. We do have a habit of just preferring to play better teams. That means we can play a bit more as well. We can play on the counter. We can, put our tactics into place a little bit better when we're expected to go and perform. I mean, look at even against Ipswich and teams like that. It doesn't always happen. And we don't turn up. We're going to be missing our best player so far this season. It could be a potential banana skin because Sheffield United will be looking at this game thinking, right, if we have any chance of staying in this league, these are the sorts of games where we've got to start picking up points in. So they're going to make it very difficult for us. That said, we've got enough quality to go there and beat them. We should do. We should be confident because of the way we played in the last few weeks. But it's just one of those where you'll know after about 15 minutes how it's going to go, I think.
Bayliss, I think you have a little bit of a family interest with Sheffield United. Is it essentially the brother-in-law that is? Well, I say brother-in-law, but none of you will pull your finger out and actually put a ring on it, will you? So who's been taking the longest is you, isn't it? Is it 10 years? 10 years?
Me by about 5 years, I think.
Wow, incredible! You're the canary down the mine for him. Have you spoken to him much? Is he optimistic? Is he saying what Harry had said, or is he saying it's a big pile of shite?
I actually haven't said a word. I'm really funny about these games and like tempting fate, even though I know it's going to have no impact whatsoever what we say here or anything you say in the prologue to it. But Jack's so right. It's either going to be one of those games where they have to go for it because these are the games they've got to win to stay up, and that means they open themselves up and we batter them because they're too open, or it's going to be a shithouser and someone will win it 1-0.
Harry, what will those changes be? I mean, there's going to be obviously at least one change with Neto. So, I mean, who comes in for him in the beginning?
Well, if we keep playing the way we've been playing, he's kind of been like on the right wing, hasn't he? It's either going to be Sarabia or Bellegarde, maybe. They're the only Well, he ain't going to start Fabio or something like that, is he? So if I had to put my life in it, it would probably. Well, saying that, Belgar's been injured, hasn't he? He was injured. I don't even know if he was on the bench, was he? So
Yeah.
I think
probably Sarabia.
Yeah, potentially.
That's where I think it might be, or Tommy Doyle maybe. But then you have to change the system about if Tommy Doyle starts. Maybe he goes in behind Huang and Cunha, and
I was going to say,
diamond.
do you think there would be Cunha comes in on that right hand side and someone
Maybe.
like Kalajdzic is given a chance?
That's a good shout, yeah, maybe that. But Cunha's been so good in the middle. I know he hasn't scored the most goals, but what he does there, I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it? It's going to be interesting to see what Gary O'Neill does. But he's the best manager in the league, so I trust him.
We forgot about Cunha a little bit, haven't we? But like, just even from the weekend, like, if he could finish, he'd be playing for bloody like a top 4 club, wouldn't he? Because it's just well, yeah. Can't say Brazil, obviously, because he got called up. But it's just a shame that he just doesn't seem to have that end product, does he? But you know,
no, but like I say, like getting
the play is incredible
for your national side, especially when they are as good as Brazil. You know, they're always there or thereabouts, aren't they? So there are managers that see something in him. Obviously, paid a lot of money for him.
Great shout in the comments. I like that shout from Ray.
Ray says, "Oh, I think me and Harry did it at the same time. Then
we did.
Went on left, right at Norwich to play as Neto. Not a bad shout. Not a bad shout at all.
I like that.
Inside on the right. Yeah.
I think that given this injury has happened, if I was Kalajdzic and the way that I've come on and impacted games from the bench, and now a forward player has been injured, I'd be thinking, I think I deserve a start here. I deserve to get into the team. So I wouldn't mind having a rethink and starting to build the team around a big man up top, you know, and having to play, you know, if it means Huang playing a little bit less wide potentially, or rethinking it some other way, I don't know. But I think, yeah, I would be all right, happy with that happening.
Let's do a score prediction, Bayliss, unless you've got anything to add.
No, nothing further. I was going to be pessimistic and say a draw, but I'll go 2-0 Wolves.
Harry?
I think a 2-2.
Jack?
1-0 Wolves. It won't be anywhere near as easy as it probably should be on paper, looking that they've lost the last 7 games or whatever it is.
And I think it's come at a good time, hasn't it, really? Because I was looking at the last international break of the season, I think is the 18th of November or around that time. So we've got an international break to come. Obviously, this game against Sheffield United and then the Spurs game. So, you know, I think for Neto coming back and all, I don't think we're really expecting to do anything magical against Spurs, although stranger things have happened, especially at Molineux this season. So we'll wait and see. But I'll go with Jack on this one, actually, a cheeky 1-0. But Bayliss has got your betting odds.
We are the wrong side of even money and favourites to win the game. I think it's the first time in the league this season. Don't know about Luton, but we're just shy of even money. Sheffield United are nearly 3-1 to win at home, which is just staggering. I did one of those little bet builders based on someone was going to be negative and say a draw. So I went with a draw. Sarr to make 4 or more saves, under 2.5 goals, and over 10 corners in the game. Only 20-1. It's not a lot of value because Wolves are quite pretty strong favourites. So a couple of scorecasts just to get you interested. Cunha to score first, 2-1 Wolves is 30-1. 2-0 Wolves with a Craig Dawson header. Doesn't have to be a header. Dawson first goal, 95-1. And Harry, I thought you were going to say it this week, so I've done one for you.
4-1.
Huang Hee-Chan to score first, 4-1 Wolves.
Oh, 200.
It won't be that great, yeah.
Nah, 120-1.
Oh my god!
God, that's
mad,
horrendous.
Yeah. Especially, yeah. Although, yeah, given their form, I suppose it got tanked 5 by Arsenal the last time out. Thank you very much for that. I just want to talk about. I mean, Harry's pointed it out, the Christmas Eve fixture that I think has been splitting fans' opinion. What do you think of it, Harry? Because obviously you're coming at it from a little bit of a different angle. You know, you got kids and the whole dressing up as a fat man and drinking
and Santa
drinking alcohol next to it whilst the children sleep.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, when we did the podcast last week, it weren't confirmed, was it? It was just rumoured. I think it's terrible. I really do. There's going to be a lot of resales. It's not just people with kids. It's people travelling up to see families who live far away, isn't it? Christmas Eve's quite a big travelling day, isn't it? Like to go to places where you're going to spend Christmas Day. It's a day people like to spend with their families as well. So yeah, it's poor. They should change it. And I really feel sorry for the Chelsea fans. I never thought I'd be saying that, but I can't imagine what the trains would be like. And it's just stupid. It just proves again that the Premier League and the broadcasters do not give a shit about the fans. They just want to get what they want, don't they? And 1 o'clock on Christmas Eve. I get people who live really close to the ground, like proper local supporters who live 2 minutes from the stadium, don't really care. But for people who live, I don't know, even like an hour or 2 hours away, it's just not good, is it? It's just not good at all.
One of those, Jack, isn't it? I mean, who's going to be, apart from Chelsea and Wolves fans, really fighting for a seat in a pub to watch it?
I think it's disgraceful, really. I agree with everything that Harry said, and I think the general reaction from all football fans, those who actually go to games, has been negative because, you know, Christmas is a time for family. Christmas Eve and Christmas Day are family orientated. Boxing Day is a day for sport. That's how it should go, really, I think. And
by family, do you mean drinking?
Yeah,
Christmas is a time for drinking.
No, Boxing Day is the day for the adults, and Christmas is, you know, for the families and the kids and everything, isn't it? So, I don't know what they're trying to do here. It'd be nice if everyone just protested and didn't watch it, because if nobody watched it, then they wouldn't do it again, would they? But I don't think that will happen. And it's kind of annoying, really, because as I said, I think the reaction from anybody who really goes to games has been generally negative. The people who are okay with it, the people who don't go, who've got nothing else to do on Christmas Eve and just watch it on telly, or Americans seem to be very for it because their holidays are always covered in sport, aren't they, really?
They have
Thanksgiving is a great
day games.
Well, there you go then. Exactly. So they think it's obviously probably they're more used to it than we are. But from a personal perspective, a lot of people also like celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve because, like, my girlfriend's family are Polish. So their Christmas Eve is our Christmas Day. So there's no chance of me being able to go. So what?
But if I got this from the actually, Bays, I haven't had your thoughts actually. What are your thoughts?
Couple of mince pies, 12 pints of Guinness, ruined Christmas Day. We're in.
It's like the old days. Got this in the Times. Word of mouth. I'm not happy because on the 23rd I have to travel to Wolves. I believe I'm not going to convince her to come with me. It's Mauricio Pochettino who's upset the Wolverhampton Tourism Board by doubting that his wife will want to spend their wedding anniversary in the city ahead of Chelsea's Christmas Eve game.
But that's you have to also think about the players, don't you? Because I know they get paid very well, but they also have very busy schedules, and a lot of them are going to be in training all over Christmas on Christmas Day, because I know our game on Boxing Day has been moved now, hasn't it, as a result of this. But, you know, can you not give them a break as well? Just a couple of days. I know they'll still be in training, but not having to, you know, travel across the country, because why can't we just play on the Saturday? Nobody have a problem with playing on the 23rd. Sunday is then Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day, and then crack on again Boxing Day. That's great. Everyone loves the how congested the, you know, English football is over Christmas. It's part of the fun, but there is a line
of Christmas, isn't it? It's the, you know,
but like, what's going to happen there? Because I don't think many of us are going to be there from a personal point of view. There'll be so many tickets sold back for that, and people just not going out of principle. So there'll be loads of empty seats probably on the telly. So I don't know what to do with it, really, but it's just a stupid decision. It's a decision that's just made, one of these things that just starts to tick you off because it's just made out of greed rather than out of consideration for either the players or the fans, to be honest.
Very good point. Let's move on to FFP. It looks like, this according to John Percy at Telegraph, Wolves are set to avoid punishment by the Premier League after their remarkable £140 million summer sale of players. Harry, Jeff's a genius. We don't know what we're talking about. Actually, I don't think I had a go at the board, so I'm king of the world. Thoughts?
I've just found something really funny. Even the Saudi Pro League, that well-known Christian nation, aren't even putting games on Christmas Eve.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
They've got Saturday the 23rd and Boxing Day.
Are they Christian?
Saudi Arabia. Yeah,
Saudi Arabia. What you...
It's been ironic.
Oh, I see.
Like, yeah.
Well, I don't know. Sorry. Harry, anyway, FFP. Sorry about that. We talked about something for 5 minutes and then Bayliss.
Yeah, it always worked out brilliant, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Nunes deal helped. But yeah, Super Jeff, I never doubted him. I mean, because how good it's been the last 5 weeks or so, it's so hard to go back to all that negativity in the summer. But it's working out okay, isn't it? It's working out okay. I still think they said they were after a striker in January, didn't they? And hopefully we've got a little bit of money because of those sales to try and get a striker in. Because let's be honest, Fabio Silva is about as much use as a chocolate ashtray. So we'll be trying to get a new striker in.
Oh, I forgot he played for us. Jack, a master stroke, obviously helped by the money washing around in the Saudi Pro League and probably the little bit of lateness tax that was put on Matheus Nunes.
Yeah, you can look at it one of two ways. You can look at it as a complete master plan, but we wouldn't be saying that if we were sat bottom of the league now. As I mentioned earlier, it's looking like the tail in the Premier League, which we all predicted actually is very long this year. And look at the way the table is shaping up at the moment. We could stay up with about 25 points, to be honest, but maybe that's a bit disrespectful to the teams at the bottom right now. But, the start would potentially suggest that. So, yeah, I mean, the plans worked. Was I confident in it as it was happening? No. Am I confident it's a master stroke rather than also a fair big stroke of luck, particularly with Gary O'Neill? I think it probably was as well. But whatever, as you say, we're happy at the moment. If it means we can start reinvesting now and get this off our back, then it's a good thing all round.
Bayliss, I mean, you would have been very, very upset, I think, if we'd have been hit with some sort of fine or something if the books hadn't have been balanced in the way that they needed to be. But some good news.
Well, yeah, we're like Everton. We're in that group of clubs where we'd get docked points and fined millions of pounds because we're not Man City. But we've got lucky with it, I think, a little bit. The fact that Neto has come back from the injury and Wang started firing has saved a lot of blushes in the Wolves boardroom. But fair enough. They've done the job. They've just got to get to the end of the season and hopefully there's a big war chest ready to go again.
Yeah, I suppose that's what it boils down to. But again, hopefully they would back who I imagine would be Gary O'Neill. But things can change pretty quickly in football, can't they? Like Harry always says, we're a fickle bunch. But it's nice to play around with the cash if you get the opportunity to. Let's move on to a quiz. Harry has a quiz which is not quite the best quiz in the world like a couple of weeks ago, but it's the second best quiz in the world.
Yeah, it's a Sheffield United related quiz, Wolves Sheffield United. So you can imagine the first round is about 2003.
Final.
But I'm going to change it up. Yes, Bayliss is going first, Jack's going second, Sam's going third, just to change it up a little bit.
Change this fuck all for me, mate. That.
The question one, Bayliss, nice and easy.
This is embarrassing, by the way, because
I'll let you stay in the middle.
I was at the game.
Right, Harry, you just do it because I think the lag's going to be
well
here.
Oh, okay. Bayliss, in 2003 playoff final, who was the manager for Sheffield United?
It was Warnock, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh my god, that's so easy.
Yeah, that's easy.
Well done.
I just didn't want to double guess myself. Yeah.
I just struggled with that.
Nice and easy, Jack. Name the 3 Wolves goal scorers from that day. 3-0.
Kennedy, Blake, Miller.
Correct.
Well done. Bit tougher, Sam. I'm sorry. Name the 3 assisters from that day. So who got the 3 assists for those goals?
A bit tougher.
Quite a tough one.
A lot tougher.
Miller.
Yes. Well done.
Ray.
No. That's close. It was Miller for the first. Ince flicked the one on for Blake. And then it was Newton who crossed it for Miller. Sorry, you got stitched up a bit there. That was a tough one. Bayliss.
Sorry, you're off my Christmas card list.
Which former Wolves defender who made 39 appearances, scoring 5 goals for Sheffield United in the 2000-2014 season? Who was it? Used to play for Wolves, centre half. Played 1 season for Sheffield United in 2013-14 season.
God. He played in that game?
No. We're just back to normal quiz now.
What years?
Former
Sorry?
Wolves defender. He played for Sheffield United between 2013 and 14 season, one season, 39 appearances, 5 goals, centre half for Wolves. Was at Wolves for a long time.
5 goals is a good return, isn't it, for a centre back in the season?
Yeah.
He could have been playing midfield back then, actually.
That's a clue, isn't it?
Go on, Bayliss.
That's a clue and a half, that is.
He's waiting for the comments.
Oh, did Cody have a year there, did he? Or something?
Ah, there we go. Cody.
There you
Yeah.
go.
I shouldn't have given you that clue, should I? Jack. Oh, this is a tough one. On the 14th of September 2020, when we were in full lockdown and eating full Englishes and drinking bottles of whiskey every day, Wolves opened up the season, beating Sheffield United 2-0 away. Raul Jimenez scored after 3 minutes. Who put Wolves 2-0 up after 6 minutes, winning us the game?
All the
Defender.
lockdown's a blur now, isn't it?
And put 2-0 up.
Could you
What was
have
that, sorry?
He was a Wolves defender.
Wolves defender. Willy Bolly.
Oh, no,
Got Tony in
close.
my head.
No. You want to guess, Bayliss?
been? Drawing a blank on that.
It was Sace.
It's going to be Sace or Bolly, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
One of the two.
This is for Sam. Name of the former Wolves striker who played for Sheffield United between 2016 and 2020, making 88 appearances, scoring 29 goals. Former Wolves striker.
When did he play for Wolves?
He started off in like 2003, left, then come back.
Chef. Ooh.
Oh, I
Do you know
got
what?
it.
I can't.
I've got it.
Let Sam go.
No, I don't know.
Big
Bayliss?
thick Leon Clark.
Leon Clark, yeah. Well done.
Fair play.
Background to Bayliss. Which former Wolves defender was on loan from Fulham playing for Wolves? Then when he left Wolves at the end of that season to join
We'll never
Sheffield
know.
United in 2017, who was it?
Might have to say that again, Harry.
Why?
You broke up a bit.
Oh, sorry. So former Wolves defender. He was on loan from Fulham in 2017. At the end of that season, he left for Sheffield United in 2017. Who was it? Former Wolves defender.
Struggling big time. I'll pass it because I just don't know.
Bit of a legend at Wolves.
But was on loan from Fulham.
But he played for us permanently in the McCarthy era as well.
Pass.
Jack?
2017, did you say?
Yeah. He technically
So
left Fulham, but he was on loan for us all season. Or half the season.
So who left and came back then?
Yeah, he left and came back to us, on loan.
Is this obvious? Should we know this?
Yeah. You give up?
No.
How long did he stay after he came back?
Just that season. Well, half a season, I think it was.
Half a season. Okay.
Someone's got it in the
season-
comments if you want to read it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, very
Yeah.
good.
Richard Stearman. Well done, Richard, ironically. Richard Stearman. So at the moment it's 2-1-0. Jack.
To me, innit?
No, that was to Bayliss, that question.
No, that was Bayliss. Yeah.
I was
Yeah. Jack. Sheffield United. I mentioned this game the other week. We beat Sheffield United away 2-0 in League One on their 125-year anniversary. Dave Edwards got the second goal for Wolves, but which former Wolves winger opened the scoring for us that day in the League One season? March
League One
2014.
It's got to be one of
Winger.
three.
Well, Jacobs.
Oh, so close. It was James Henry.
Ah,
Oh.
It was one or the other, wasn't
yeah.
it? Sam, Bayliss has won, but to get on the board, Sam, which former Wolves player who made his debut for Wolves in 2011 under Mick McCarthy, moved to Sheffield United on loan in 2014, but currently plays for Wrexham?
Anthony Ford.
Yes, well done.
Place a
Bayliss
rating.
takes the win, 2-1-1.
Very good. Well done, Bayliss. Congratulations. You win the 77 Club car sticker. We'll say goodbye then to Harry Mansell.
Sorry about my lag towards the end, but it's a bit better this week.
It's a bit better.
It
What
was
did,
better
what
this
did you
week.
improve? What did you change?
Wi-Fi, closer.
That helps. Yeah.
Ever so slightly close to the Wi-Fi. Thank you for that quiz. Goodbye from Jack Williams
Bye.
and Dan Bayliss.
Goodbye.
And it is a goodbye from me. Goodbye.